Hello everyone, welcome back to my social thread. My name's Crystal and today is my roundup of the month of October, where I will be going through everything that I sewed up in the month of October, and I think it's going to be a big one. I think I've made 14 items. So let's begin. The first item that I made was the Sew Over It Georgie dress, which is what I'm wearing, and I will stand up in a bit to give you a look at the dress. So the Georgie dress, it comes from in a size 6 to 30. It's from Sew Over It, and here is the pattern. Here you've got the line drawings. Basically it's a faux wrap dress, which means it doesn't actually fully wrap and come apart, if that makes sense. So it's just a faux wrap at the front. It's fully lined. It's long sleeves or three-quarter length sleeves. Obviously you can cut those to short sleeves if you want to. You have the option of a 3/4 circle skirt or a gathered skirt with belt loops. There you go. Sew Over It 6 to 30. I normally do a size 12 for Sew Over It patterns, and that's what I've done with this particular dress. So body measurements, it goes from a size 6, which is a bust of 31, waist of 24 inches, all the way up to a size 30, which is a bust of 57, waist of 50. With regards to this particular pattern, it's obviously a knit pattern, and it has negative ease. Yes, it does. So for a negative ease basically means, so normally with a woven pattern you have positive ease. So for example, if your bust is say a 34, the garment that would fit you would have probably a positive ease of about 2 to 4 inches, depending on how fitted you want the garment. With regards to knitted or fitted garments, you have negative ease, and that therefore then the garment therefore relies on the stretch of the fabric to give you a good fit. So with the size 12, it's bust of 37, waist of 32, and the finished garment for the size 12 is a bust of 34, waist of 30. Now I'm not those sizes. I'm a slightly bigger. But this fits me perfectly in the size 12 because the fabric that I've chosen is a cotton jersey, and I think if you were to go for a cotton viscose, it'd give you even more. A viscose jersey, it did give you a bit more stretch as well, but it works well for me, even though my measurements really technically put me on a size 14 to 16 in this particular pattern. But I have made this pattern many times before, and I've just literally used the old pattern pieces that I have made my previous Georgies in, and it still fits, which is really, really great. Also the stretch helps as well. So I have made mine in a I bought it from Little Miss So and So. They had a sale coming a while ago, probably about a couple of weeks ago, and on the website it was listed as a John Luden fabric, which is fine. I don't really mind. I just really, really like the print and the vibrancy of the colors. And then when I received the fabric on the selvage, it said poppy fabric, so it's actually a poppy fabrics fabric. And I really like this dress because it's a relatively easy sew, actually. Relatively easy sew. I think I finished it all within an afternoon, so I would say about 6 hours from start to finish, from cutting out to finishing, about 6 hours, which sounds like a long time, but actually in sewing terms it's not very long. It is fully lined, as I say. I bought 3 meters of fabric at, I'm not sure what width it was, but I didn't have enough fabric to do the lining. So, but I did have some navy cotton jersey in my stash, which I just used for the lining, which worked out very nicely. And that's it. Let me show you what she looks like. So this is the fabric here. So it's a beautiful sort of a dark navy print with lots of florals on it. And I just love this coral, actually really pops in real life, and it's a lovely print. I'm quite liking poppy fabrics at the moment. So you've got the wrap here, and it has ruching at the sides, and that gives this sort of ruching part here. So when they first introduced the dress, Lisa was showing it on her like Insta stories, or she had a vlog on it as well. And when they first introduced the dress, they had it sort of, so it looks kind of like this, as you were the V. And I mean, it's okay like this, but I think she then decided to pop it under. If you pop one side under the bust and this side under the bust, you then get the ruching here. It is a bit low for me without the vest top, so I do wear a vest top with it. And I quite like, I guess you could wear it different ways. You could have it sort of down like this and get more of the ruching, or you can have it as it was intended, I suppose, which is just like a slightly higher v-neck. Not too much ruching, but I mean, it works either way. So you've got the long sleeves, which is really, really nice. I guess you could cut them into 3/4 or short sleeves if you wanted to. The sleeve cuffs aren't fitted, if that makes sense. So they're not fitted like this, which at first I thought was kind of a bit, I don't know, I didn't really like it as such. But with this, I quite like the fact that I can pull up the sleeves, and I think it gives it a different vibe. I quite like that you can kind of just fold up the sleeves if you want to. Anyhow, so this is the ruching here, and then I can't really show you as much. And this is the 3/4 circle skirt that I have attached to it. I have made it with a gathered skirt in the past, which works out nicely as well, but I quite like the idea of the 3/4 skirt, so I went with that. It doesn't have any pockets, which is fine. I find jersey items with pockets don't tend to work for me. I find they kind of look like a kangaroo pouch, and they're just not very nice. So I don't think I have any jersey dresses with pockets. But yeah, I have tried it once with the Nina Lee, not the Bakerloo dress, the Nina Lee, what's that jumper dress called? The Nina Lee, you know what I mean, the Nina Lee jumper dress, with a funnel, with the sort of turtleneck type thing. The pattern has pockets, and I did put pockets in. It was made up of a sweatshirting. I put pockets in, and it just looked like you could see the hole gaping out. It wasn't very good look, so I just cut it off, and I just sewed the seams. And yeah, let me pop up some photos of myself wearing this so you can have a better look. And yeah, it's a very easy sew. I like the idea that I can get it done, and because I have done it before, I kind of know what I'm doing. The only tricky thing is if you are if you are lining the fabric with cotton jersey as well, it does get a bit thick, because what it is, you have your back bodice piece plus lining, so that's already 2 pieces of fabric. Then you have this front panel plus lining, so that's another 2, so that's 4 pieces. And then this under V bit is also 2 pieces, so 2, 4, 6 pieces all together. So for example, in this seam here, you've got 6 layers of fabric joining, and in this side here again 6 layers of fabric joining. If you can do a lighter cotton jersey or viscose jersey for the lining, that would help you out a lot more. And I suppose also, if you didn't want to line it, you could just do like what's it called, a stretchy, a knit bias binding all the way, if you didn't have enough fabric, or you didn't have any lining fabric, or your fabric was like a scuba, for example, or a Ponte Roma, which is much thicker and doesn't require lining. I think the lining is more, not necessarily like I think the lining is so that it's got a lovely clean inside and it encloses all the seams at the same time. But I have always opted for the lining in mine. Sorry, this noise in the background. The older children are watching Spider-Man or something, second Spider-Man. But that's that. What else was I going to say? Yeah, that's it. Perfect. So that's the first make that I have made, and I really, really like it. And also I think it's quite flattering because of the ruching at the waist. It makes my waist look smaller, and because of the 3/4 circle skirt that kind of flares out a bit, it gives the illusion that my waist is smaller than my hips, and I quite like it. It's a very feminine floaty dress, and Sew Over It are very well known for sort of their floaty dresses, especially their vintage dresses are very, very nice. That's my first make of the month. What should I go to next? Skirts. So I have made 3 skirts. Actually, we can tally this all up. I've made 1 dress for myself, 3 skirts for myself, 1, 2, 3, 3 sweaters and a blouse. So 8 items for myself. I don't know why I'm showing you my fingers in case. And then I made 1, 2, 3, 4 hoodies for the children. That's 12. And then 2 sweaters for Anya. So that's 14 items. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very happy, very productive. And what I did do with the children's makes is basically I looked through my stash, and I had quite a lot of remnant pieces from where I've made sweaters and things. and I always used to buy 2 meters for sweaters, and it's the Tilly and the Buttons Billy sweaters that I've been making in the past, and I didn't realize that actually I could get that out of 1.5 meters, and so I've had quite a lot of leftover fabric, which I have then turned into sweaters for Anya, which are great. Likewise with my French terry prints for the boys, I've just gone through my stash and looked to see sort of what fabric I can use with contrasting or matching sweatshirting and ribbing, and I've managed to, as I say, make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tops for the children. Those children are Anya, Gabriel, Zachary and Zana. So I'm very happy with those, and they're very happy as well. I do have a couple more makes for the boys planned for this month, again using up all my stash. And basically I think I'm just trying to, I hoard all of my remnants because I don't really know what else to do with them. And I know some people, I mean, I have been saving them for like the past 5 years, all these various remnants, and now I've got nowhere else to send them. I think there is a place you can send them to, but they do require at least 1 meter clear of fabric if you are going to send it to them. And I think my pieces are probably less than 1 meter, half a meter to 1 meter to under 1 meter, so it's not very useful for other things apart from if you are making color blocking hoodies or children's wear, that sort of thing. Anyway, I've just rambled on. So skirts, the first skirt that I made this month was the Maeve skirt by True Bias. I got this as part of my Little Miss So-and-so kit back in the summertime, and I really and I was actually very excited to get this because I wanted to buy this pattern. I've had my eye on this pattern prior to it being an option as part of my So Luxurious kit, so I was very happy to get this. It's a True Bias Maeve skirt. It goes from a size 0 to a size 18, and the 0 is a waist of 26 inches, hip of 34, all the way up to a size 18, which is a waist of 38.5 inches and a hip of 46.5 inches. Now that can be changed because it is elasticated. I'll show you the skirt. So you have an elasticated waist, quite a thick one actually, 2 inches, which is really, really nice and really secure, and it's just got a lovely fit. It kind of cinches you in a bit, so I love that thickness of elastic. And then you make a channel in between and you can put a drawstring. The drawstring for me is actually functional. I guess it could just be what's it called, just for show for some people, but for me I actually use both the elastic and the drawstring functionally. And it's a tiered skirt, so you've got 1, 2, 3, and the beauty about it is you can mix and match the tiers. These aren't all the options, you've got various other options, so you can just have a single tier. You can have a shorter top tier and a longer bottom tier to make 2 tiers. You can have 2 shorter tiers and 1 longer tier, all different variations. So you can do midi, maxi, mini, mini. It's really late. Mini, midi and maxi. There you go. All different variations. And actually the booklet is quite clever. Well, I say that. And it has pockets as well. Sorry, you've got pockets on either side, inseam pockets. So the booklet is quite nice in that it shows you the different variations you can have. So it shows you all the different variations, and it actually tells you what pieces to cut out, because I know it sounds simple, but it can get quite confusing as to which parts you need to cut out. And I just think that's a lovely kind of fail-safe way to know that which pieces you're cutting out to get your that sort of desired garment that you want. I went for a size 10. Again, I'm not sure why I went for a size 10 because, so I have made this skirt before. As I say, I made it as part of the So Luxurious kit. So a size 10 would be a waist of 31.5 and a hip of 39.5. My waist is not 31.5. I don't know exactly why I cut out a size 10, but I went with the 10 anyway because I know that it has a lot of gathering. And what I did is cut out the size 10 because the pattern pieces were already cut out. So that was just one less thing for me to do. And instead of following the size 10 waistband elastic measurements, so it gives you, so for the size that you need, it gives you the measurement of the elastic you need to cut out. So instead of following that, I just measured my waist where it was comfortable and I cut out that length of elastic. So I used the size 10 pattern pieces, but with the elastic that was my waist measurements, and that worked really, really nicely. It was still gathered, it was still beautiful, and I really, really like it. I would like to plan more. I would like to make more, but it's just a case of I just have so many ideas and thoughts in my mind of what I want to make for myself, what I want to make for the children, and it's just getting the time to do that. And also looking for fabric in my stash, because I'm really trying hard not to buy any fabric at the moment, just because Christmas is coming up, and obviously with the children, just for Christmas presents and things. Not that they want too much or need anything at all, in fact, but it's just, you know, Christmas is always quite an expensive time of the year, with family coming over, cooking for like 20-25 people. I remember last year, I think we had, goodness me, probably around 20, at least 25 people a day for like a week. It was like it was basically like a hotel here. So when one family had, well, we had about three families staying, and then when they left, another three families came, and then, you know, it was kind of like a changeover. So it's like, you know, can you take off the sheets and then wash them and then put them in ready for the next one? And it was just, it was mayhem. It was fun. But it was chaotic. And I probably would not do that again. But I forget what my point was now. Yes, Christmas can be quite expensive, and I have so much fabric. I don't know if you can see from there. So that's all fabric there. That's all my jersey, and that shelving is 1, 2, 3, and then there's a bottom shelf at the bottom as well that you can't see under the desk on the other side as well. Sorry, no, that's not my jersey, that's my woven side, and this is all my jersey side here, and patterns at the top there. Anyway, I do have a lot of fabric, and it is quite nice to just shop in your fabric stash. So I'm trying to do that a lot more, and maybe if I do need to buy things, it's just notions like elastics and buttons and that sort of thing. So anyway, enjoyed this skirt very much. What is it involved? It's very easy. It's just obviously gathering your pieces, inserting pockets, and the elastic, inserting the elastic, and then you sew on the elastic. Let me show you my make actually. So I have made this in a Ecovero. Now, I know Ecovero is kind of like, I thought it was just like a term that they used for like environmentally friendly fabric. So normally it's an Ecovero viscose, but I bought this from Bornella Fabrics, and it just said Ecovero on it, and I don't know if that's an actual fabric by itself. Anyway, I'm just going to call it Ecovero viscose because that's what I think it is. And it's here. I love this floral. Let me show you from... So this is the skirt here, all flowy and beautiful, and up close, look at those gorgeous colors. So it's a black background with this beautiful florals. I love florals. Florals are my go-to print, and it's just really autumnal. I love burgundies and pinks, that sort of shade, and I just thought it was really beautiful. I have never shopped from Bornella before, but I saw somebody on Instagram post some vintage floral fabric, and I asked them where they got it from, and they said Bornella. I went onto their website and I found this, but there was only 2 meters left of this. If there had been more, I would have bought more to make a dress out of, and then maybe another 2 to make a skirt, because I really, really love this skirt, but they were out of stock. But this is it. So let me show you the waistband. Oh, that's not a very neat part of the waistband. Let me show you a nicer part of the waistband. That's not neat either. This camera, the lighting, it's the lighting. My sewing is very neat. It's the lighting. Let me show you this part. It's not very good. Anyway, so the waistband is a 2-inch waistband, and then you sew it at the top here and at the bottom there, and then you have this channel where you then insert your drawstring, and that's just a buttonhole there, and then a drawstring goes in. So this is lovely and stretchy, and then I just use this drawstring just to cinch it in a tiny bit. It has pockets as well, which is really nice, and I use the Tilly and the Buttons way of inserting side seam pockets, because Tilly gets you to overlock all the sides of the skirt and all around the pocket pieces first. then you sew it right sides together first, and then fold it back, understitch, do that to both pieces, and then connect it together. And it's a beautiful finish, I find, and the lining doesn't peek out of the lining doesn't peek, so you've got your understitching there, so the lining doesn't peek out of the pocket, which is really it's just the way that I like doing it. I think it's very neat, very easy. I can do it without well, with my, I would say with my eyes shut, but not quite with my eyes shut. So that's that skirt there. I will pop up a photo afterwards, because I've basically done like 1, 2, 3 outfits, so a skirt and a top, so I'll discuss the top as well to go with that, and then I'll pop up the photo of the outfit together. So I have paired this Maeve skirt with the Tilly and the Buttons Billy jumper. This is the Billy jumper. It goes from a size UK 6, which is a bust of 30 inches, waist of 24 inches, all the way up to a UK 24, which is a bust of 48 inches, waist of 42 inches. In Tilly and the Buttons, I normally go for a 4 or 5. But for this one, somehow, so I have made this before, but then when I made it up, it was really, really big. And now I realize why, because the Tilly and the Buttons seam allowances are 5/8 of an inch. But my overlocker at the moment, it's not, the blade needs changing, and when I use it at 5/8 of an inch, the blade doesn't cut the end as well, so it's kind of a bit raggedy. So what I've done instead is I've just put my fabric at the edge of the presser foot, so nothing is cut off, if that makes sense. So then I've lost my 5/8 seam allowance. Probably it's only like a 3/8 seam allowance, and that's probably why overall, with all the seams, it's a bit bigger. Is that right? It's a bit bigger. So then I had to just take it in at the waist a bit, and even now it's still quite a loose fit. So I'm thinking, what did I do? So what I did instead was the actual pattern pieces, I have actually trimmed them all down to a size 4, and then I just use the 3/8 seam allowance on my overlocker. Now I do wonder why, with like knits, for example, if you are, well, for those that use overlockers, why don't the companies just have 3/8 seam allowances all the time? Because it literally is the perfect sort of, when you put it under the presser foot, it's the perfect seam allowance. And I guess the reason why is because, I guess if you make a mistake, or if you need to take it in, or you know there is seam allowance. Well, actually there isn't, because it's cut off by the overlocker. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm sure there's a reason why. Because sometimes if you don't have enough fabric, or you don't want to waste fabric, or your blades on your overlocker aren't sharp enough, you know, you just want to use a 3/8 3/8 each seam allowance. So anyway, I have made this before in the past. It's a very easy sew. It's all in the overlocker, apart from top stitching the neckband. Yes, that's correct, top stitching the neckband. And the variations are, you get the normal sweatshirt with a normal sleeve and cuff. You can turn that into a dress by lengthening it, and it's got pockets and a waistband. And then you can have one with a poofy sleeve head and a bishop sleeve cuff, and again the dress version. So I drafted my pieces, well, what did I say? I traced my pieces with this top half. So I've got the normal sleeve head, but used the bishop sleeve cuff, and I did the sweater length. And the reason why is because I don't think poofy things on my shoulder look very good. Although, having said that, I do love poofy sleeves on all my woven dresses, so I'm not quite sure why I think that. But anyway, the pattern was already cut out, and I stuck with that, and I did the bishop sleeve version. So the first one I did was, to go with that skirt, was the burgundy version. This is the cable knit fabric, which you will see everywhere. It's been around for a couple of years, and it's you know, very popular again this year. So it's a cable, can you see that? Cable knit burgundy fabric, and I just had some matching rib in my, doesn't look like it's matching there, matching rib in my stash. So as I said, you have the normal sleeve head, and then you've got the poofy bishop sleeve cuff. And the new thing that I've learned is my facing. So normally with my, do I have one here? Normally with my sweaters, oh, I don't have an example here. Did I not do one? Oh, I'll show, no, actually, I'll show you this one. So normally with my sweaters, let's just pretend this is the back of it. You get sort of your overlocked bit showing. And normally what I did do was just have a long horizontal label just to cover that a bit, so from the back you can't see it so much. And I know ready to wear items, and there are a couple of tutorials as well that gets you to cut a length of a cotton jersey to cover over there and stitch that on top to cover that overlock stitch there. And I just thought that was too fiddly. Have I done it before? I think I've done it once on a hoodie that I was giving as a gift, and never again. I mean, it's not difficult, it's just a bit fiddly because it's a long thin strip of cotton jersey which curls up at the side, and then anyway, so I just haven't done that. But what I did discover from making a hot chocolate hoodie by Waves and Wild, which used to be called Made by Jack's Mum, I made that hoodie for Gabriel, is that the back piece has a facing. So if you look at your sweaters, your ready to made sweaters or hoodies, at the back you'll see like a stitching line at the back like this, and that's because you've got the a facing to cover the back, which I think is really, really nice. And if it's just on the hanger or what have you, it's like perfect. Let me just see that. It just looks so beautifully finished, and then my label gets stitched onto that bit there. The overlocking is covered up, and then the back has this sort of lovely stitching that makes it look a lot more ready to wear, which is sort of my aim in my handmade clothes. And what so for the hot chocolate that I mentioned, I'll talk about it later on when I show you the hot chocolate. They actually have a pattern piece for that semicircle shape. But what I found out is when you cut out your front pieces, so your pattern piece is something like this, isn't it? When you cut out your front piece, this leftover bit that gets left on your fabric is the perfect shape to go for your back what is this called? Your back facing. So I just save every time I cut out a sweater, this remnant part here that I cut out of the fabric, I keep that and I use that, and it's the perfect size for the back of my sweaters. And it's just a lovely way to finish a sweater, I think, or a hoodie, or even a t-shirt. Would you do that for a t-shirt? No, you could do it to a t-shirt as well. And that's that one. Very easy to sew up, as I say. I probably did this in like 2 hours, you know, very easy. And I love the result. And I'll pop up a picture of myself wearing this jumper, matching, paired up with the Maeve skirt. I'll pop it up right now. So as you can see, the jumper has a lot of ease in the waist. The bust, I think, is fine. A lot of ease in the waist. I mean, it's slightly fitted. There is some shape there. But if you did want to, or if I did want to, you know, take it in, I could take it in a bit more, just to have a more fitted silhouette. But that's that version there. Not the version, that's that outfit there. And then what else did I make? The next thing I made was the Nina Lee Camden skirt in a, did I tell you where I got that fabric from? Sorry, that cable knit fabric was from Pound Fabrics. That's the cheapest place that I found that do them. And with the knit fabrics, I kind of love and hate it. Like, I love, when I first bought it, I bought it in so many different colors, and I love that, you know, that it was sort of that cable knit pattern on the outside, but on the inside it's kind of like, I'll show you what it looks like. It's kind of, you can hear that, it's kind of like, I don't know what it feels like. So it's not soft and smooth and furry and cozy like a sweatshirting. And I want to say polyester. It probably does have polyester in it. I mean, I don't even know what polyester feels like. But it is slightly, it's not rough or itchy, but it's just not the best thing to put. So every time I put it on, As soon as I put it on, there's sort of like 5 seconds of me sort of getting used to it before I then settle in, and then I don't feel it anymore. But it's just that initial feeling on my skin, which I'm not too keen on. Having said that, I do wear them quite often, but I probably won't buy this knitted, this cable knit fabric again because of that specific odd feeling that I get when I wear it. Yeah, so anyway, that's from Pound Fabrics. So the next outfit that I made was the Camden pinafore and skirt pattern. So I just went for the skirt in this one. I have made this before as well, and I've made this before as well. So again, oh, this is the, why is it a fun fact? So I had this skirt cut out probably 2 years ago. It was in a work in progress folder, and all the pattern pieces and all the fabric was all cut out, and I just had to basically take it out and sew it up. So over the past couple of months, I've had it in the forefront of my sewing area, thinking, you know, let me do that. So finally I got the chance to do it. I got it all out, and I didn't have the pockets cut out. I was like, oh no, I didn't have the pockets cut out. So then I had to search for the remnant fabric. Luckily I still had the remnant cord fabric, so I cut out the pockets and I managed to sew that up. Again, a very quick sew. This particular pattern goes from a size 6, which is a, well, bust because of the pinafore. So size 6, which is a bust of 32, waist of 24, hip of 33, all the way up to a size 20, which is a bust of 46, waist of 38, hip of 47.5. It is lined, so both the pinafore and the skirt are lined. The waistband comes in 2 pieces, the front part of the waistband and the back, and I think the reason for that is obviously if you wanted to make the pinafore, you then insert the pinafore in between the 2 waistbands, but normally with a skirt and a waistband you get the double thickness of the waistband and you fold it over rather than having 2 separate waistbands. But anyhow, that was fine. And then you have an invisible zip at the back. The pockets are lined, but I found that with cord I don't need to line it. I literally just fold over the sides and it works out really well. It doesn't look tacky or it doesn't stretch out or anything. It works out really well. I went for the size, I'm not sure what I went for. Probably a size 12. I went for a size 12 in this. I don't have it to hand. Actually, I should have gotten my booklet. I don't have it to hand, but I will show you my version here. So I made it in a 4.5 wale cord. 4.5 wale basically means for every inch of your fabric. So 4, 2, 3, 4. So that is an inch between my 2 fingers there. For every inch of fabric, it's the amount of lines within that inch that determines your wale. So 4.5 wale is thick line or thick ridges, as you can see, and with needle cord, for example, in that amount of in this distance between here and my finger here, so within the inch for a needle cord you'd probably have like 21 wales, which is 21 ridges in there. So basically with corduroy, the bigger the number, the smaller the ridges, the smaller the number, the thicker the ridges. So it's a dark green cord. I think I bought this from Fabric Godmother again years ago. So I'm just pulling out some thread. You can see the pockets are here, and I have just overlocked it and turned it on itself, and I think it works fine. Center seam at the front. I'm not sure why they've got a center seam at the front, but they do. And then you've got an invisible zip at the back, which is invisible. You can see the little tag there. And then the inside of the skirt, you can line it if you want to, but I haven't done so with mine. Again, just to bear in mind with cord, there is a nap to the cord. So basically the nap is the way the fabric goes. So if you think cord should always feel, so you have like a smooth side, and then if you go brush upwards, it's like a rough side. So with cord, the nap always has to go down, so when you brush it, it's flat, it's smooth, not going up. And also with cord, with your pattern pieces, you have to make sure that the nap is going all in one direction. Otherwise, if it goes in another direction, if I turn it upside, so that's kind of that color. If I turn it upside down, you can't really tell, it's a different color altogether because of the nap. So if you have different fabric pieces in different naps, it will look like you're wearing different colors. Anyway, I'm sure most of you understand that. There you go. So that's that. Just, I like the pockets as well, slightly different style pockets. Was it an easy make? Yes, it was an easy make. I didn't have to line it, which was great. And as I say, the waistband is in two pieces. You've got the front waistband, then there's a seam there, and then you've got the back waistband, and that is of course to allow you to add the pinafore part on the top. But normally, as I said, with a normal skirt, this waistband would just be one piece folded over. So that was easy enough to do. Oh, and I've used my stabilizer again. What is it called? Band roll. Can you see this? No, come on. I'm just being really lazy, sorry. Oh no. I've got tights on, so I can't. I didn't realise I had so much of it. Sorry, band roll. It's waistband stabilizer, as it were, and it prevents your waistband from crushing. So it's quite rigid, but not like hard rigid. So I normally used to put interfacing on my waistband, which is great when you first make it. But then once you've washed it, the interfacing just becomes like the fabric. So when you sit down, your waistband does crush, but this helps prevents your waistbands from crushing. So it's always stiff and always flat, which is great. So I bought this from the Social Studio, and I will buy it from there from now on. And I think I will keep this in my stash at all times because it's great, and my waistbands have never been better. So that's that. And I don't know. So, I mean, you can still bend it, but it just makes a huge difference compared to normal interfacing, and it really does stand up and hold you in as well. So it's quite nice. So that's that. And what did I pair with this green one? With the green one, I paired it with another Billy sweatshirt, but this time in the black cable knit. And again, I've used the what's it called, lining, back facing thing there as well with my label. And I'll pop up a photo of myself wearing it. So that's that outfit. And then the next thing I made was, let me just tidy this up. Oh, I was trying to find the pattern, but it's the Estuary skirt by So Liberated. I'll pop up a photo of it here. I've been meaning to not say I will pop up a photo because it sounds, it's kind of like a tongue twister teaser. So I'm trying to say I'll post a photo up here. So I'll try and say that from now on. I'll post a photo up here. It's a So Liberated Estuary skirt. I have made this before, and this was actually my entry for So Upcycle 23, which was run by Karen and Karen of my brain. I know Karen. Karen is a good sewing buddy. So Notes from a Sewing Room and Karen, So Little Time, there you go. And they run this challenge, and basically it's a case of upcycling something you get from a charity shop or a make that you don't wear or you don't like anymore, and upcycling it into a garment that you do like. And I did mine with I don't have the other half of this now, but I will pop up a photo. I will post a photo. Haha. I will post a photo of the before and after, but this used to be the Coco Wawa honeycomb dress, and I really did like this dress, this pattern when I bought it. I will post a photo of the pattern. So it's a princess seam bodice, button front, like a mandarin collar, 3/4 length sleeves, gathered skirt, pockets. But the main detail that I liked is that within the princess seams there are ties, and you can tie a bow around the side of your waist rather than having a back tie, which I think was quite nice, and that cinches in the dress. So anyway, I was so desperate to make this dress when I did make it a couple of years ago, probably more than 2 or 3 years ago now, and I wanted to make it in a chambray, but I only had a lightweight stretch denim, and I thought that will do, it's fine. And I made it, and it was just really thick and clunky, and it just kind of was crisp, and it just didn't really work at all. But a lot of work had gone into it, and I just didn't have the heart to do anything, so it just kind of remained in my wardrobe for a while. And then recently I took it out, as I say. I cut off the bodice and I turned it into a skirt. I also removed the buttons, and I kept the buttons in my stash. Actually, no, I use the buttons for the dress. I use the buttons for the dress. So the gathered skirt, what I ended up doing here is the estuary skirt here. I'll pop up a photo. I will post a photo of the pattern, the estuary skirt pattern. So it was a gathered skirt, and what I did is I cut it down the middle. Did I cut it down the middle? Yes, I did actually cut it down the middle and put the cut pieces up for the waistband, put the button placket in and the patch pockets, as you can see. So they've got lovely kind of patch pockets here, angled at the top, patch pockets. And then the front is flat front, and I used again my band roll thing for the waistband, and then the back is elasticated, which is lovely, so it gives a lovely fit. And what I didn't do is, as I said with the honeycomb dress, it had pockets, so I've decided to leave them on. So this is the first skirt that I have that has inseam pockets and patch pockets. So I thought it was more trouble to take them out and resew them and to resew the seams, so I just left that side seam pockets on, added the patch pockets, and I really like it. However, the fabric is still quite thick and quite chunky for this particular pattern, I think. And somehow, even though I've used this pattern before and the pattern did fit me, I think I could get rid of a good 2 inches on the back of that. And the elastic is sewn, sorry, that's not very neat, but you know, the elastic is sewn down 3 times, so you've got stitching here, stitching there, and stitching to enclose it, and I just didn't have the heart to undo that. And could I do that? No, it wouldn't work. If I was thinking of like opening up the seam here, cutting the elastic and joining it up again, but then it's all stitched together and that's not going to work. So then what I thought was I could I could cut it down here, take my chunk out, and just have a center back seam as well. I don't know if that would work because it is quite chunky at the back. Like, I do have a lot of chunk at the back with the dress, with the skirt, not my my back, but anyhow, there you go. I do like the skirt. I have made one, actually, an old chambray one in a chambray, which is lovely and flowy, but that is a bit big for me now, and also I got a stain on it, and it's not like nice. I just kind of wear it around the house or what have you. So anyway, so that's that skirt there. And with that, I matched it with, you'll never guess, another Billy. I did, yes. Another Billy sweatshirt, but in a plain. This is just a lovely pink. This is sweatshirting as well, but it's a lightweight sweatshirting. So I made another one in a pink, exactly the same, with my, what's it called, thing. Back facing again. Sorry, it's not been ironed, so the neckband doesn't really sit very well, but that's that one there. And I will post a photo of myself wearing that outfit. There you go. And then the next makes that I made were for the children, so I'm not completely selfish. So the next makes I made for the children. So my go-to hoodie for the children is the Zane hoodie pattern by Ellie and Mac. So it's this thing here, and you've got lots of different variations. Well, actually you don't. You've got the short sleeve version with the hood, long sleeve version with the hood, but you've got color blocking options here. So the bottom bit you can color block if you want. You've got pockets as well, and the arms you can color block. So what I've decided to do is, I have done the color blocking before, but for this particular one I've just added the sleeve pieces together, gotten rid of the seam allowances, same with the back bodice and the front bodice, all one piece rather than having the color blocking, and that's what I've done. This particular pattern goes from a size 6 to 12 months up to an age 14, which is really great. So all my children fit into this, although it is a little bit on the small side because my 10-year-old just about fits into the age 14, which is a bit annoying, and that's why I ended up getting the hot chocolate hoodie pattern, or I think it's called, yeah, the hot chocolate. So he is a extra small. Hot Chocolate is the men's hoodie pattern, so he's an extra small. Gabriel's an extra small in that one, in terms of the bodice, but then the arms and the length I then adjust to him because he's only 10 going on 11, but he is quite a sturdy man, boy. So the first one I made in the Zane hoodie was one for Xander, my 4-year-old Xander, and I made it in this robot print, which I had in my stash, bought from eBay. There used to be like an eBay, there is still an eBay shop, I think it's called, I'm not sure what it's called, but they do like sort of auctions for their jersey fabrics and French terry. This is a brushed French terry, lovely colorful robots there. I didn't do the pockets, to the disappointment of my children, but next time, because I just thought it was a bit more, it's an extra step, an extra couple of steps, and I just thought it was a bit fiddly. But then I did a pocket on one of them and I thought actually it wasn't that bad, and the kids prefer a pocket, so I'll do that next time. So anyway, that's the robot print, and I've contrasted it with some orange sweatshirting. The hood is fully lined, cuffs at the cuff and at the waistband. So this is Xander's one, he's age 4, and then I also made Zachary one, he's age 6, so he got the Mario Brothers French terry, and I've contrasted that with a grey sweatshirting. That's the hood, grey sweatshirting, very easy to do. So with this one I don't have the back neck facings, so you can see, but I think with hoodies you can't really see so much because the hood kind of tends to cover that part. So I will post a photo of the 2 boys wearing their ones. And then the next hoodie I made was for my daughter Anya. So again, I used the same pattern. I mean, I think it says a boys pattern, but it's a unisex pattern to me. It's, it's all the same. So I chose this from my stash. So this is a poppy fabric from Jenny Stitches, and it was a remnant piece from a dress that I made for Talia, I think I made Talia a Tilly and the Buttons, that dress that I love, the drawstring dress, I can't remember what it's called now, Tabitha t-shirt dress, and this was the leftovers. So that's quite a lot of leftovers, remnants, so that's quite nice. And because I have lots of children, it works out really nicely. So the remnant pieces, if it's not big enough for an adult piece of clothing, I can always get Anya, who's 8, or Ava, who is 4. I can always get something out for the girls. So this is just yep, I've made the hoodie with a contrasting sort of plum sweatshirting, lined hood again. That's that one. And for Gabriel I made a hoodie, but it's not the Zane hoodie, sorry, this is the Hot Chocolate hoodie, which is by Waves and Wild, who used to be called Made by Jack's Mum. I will post a photo of the pattern up here. And actually I quite love this pattern because it did introduce me to the, did I even do it on here? Yeah, it introduced me to the back facing. So for this one, so this is the hoodie here, the back facing works out nicely because it's the same fabric as the hood. So that's the back facing there, and then from at the top you can just see, so it's just like a perfect, you can't see any of the joints there, so that's quite nice. Contrasted it with a royal, is this a royal blue? A royal blue sweatshirting, and this one has the pockets. Can't really see, I didn't pattern match or anything. This has the pockets that are lined, and that works out really well. The only thing that I didn't like about the Hot Chocolate was the hood piece. So I will show you the hood. I don't know if you can tell. So this overlap bit here I think is too much. It overlaps by a good, goodness me, by a good, how long is that? So it overlaps by a good 8 inches. Is that even 8 inches? By a good 8 to 10 inches, and that's a huge overlap. And I'm not keen on that. So I will post a photo of Anya and Gabriel wearing theirs. And if you can see, so I'll compare it to, say, Anya's hoodie. The overlap for her hoodie is tiny. It's literally like an inch overlap. So that bit is what I'm talking about, the inch overlap. And I think that's fine. And I know ready to wear hoodies, they don't even have any overlaps. The V's just kind of butt up together there. So I mean, an inch overlap is fine, I think. but with the hot chocolate, it overlaps so much that it's almost like you have, it's almost like a funnel neck, or like you have like a scarf or something. And I think it's a bit overwhelming. So next time round, I am going to try and minimize this part here. Then I'll be happy with that particular pattern. So that's that one. Then the other thing that I decided to make were some sweaters for Anya, because I had some remnant fabric, as I say. I have this pattern, this particular sweater, the Billy sweater, in this fabric, and I'll post a photo of a really old make. You'll see me with my short haircut. So I made a Billy sweatshirt, and I had some remnant fabric, and I made sort of a baby a baby Billy sweatshirt, but I used the same Zane hoodie pattern. So instead of putting the hood, I just raised the neckline and just added a neckband. And it's I guess we could both wear it together. It's a mini me of a Billy sweatshirt. And this fabric is a French terry from Jelly Fabrics, and a matching blue ribbing. Did I use a thing? Yep, and I used my neck thing again, neck facing, which I'm really proud of, as you can tell. I've been using it and everything. Likewise, I've made the nut, so that will post a photo of her wearing that one. And likewise, this is a remnant of another Billy that I made. Here's the old photo, and then a photo of Anya wearing her one. So this is a French terry again from Jelly Fabrics. This is the one that I forgot to add the neck facing to, and as you can see, it's just not very nice. So that's a leopard print with a pink ribbing. So that's those makes. And then the very last make I made was a blouse for myself, and this is part of my All Set to Sew So Luxurious kit. So I have made a separate video for that, because that's what I do for that particular project, but I will quickly show you here. It is the Merchant, no it's not, it is the Sew House 7 Regalia blouse, and I will show you the line drawings. Well, the pattern is this pattern here. So it's basically a blouse. You can have a crop version or a long version with a tie. Long version meaning you can tuck it in. You can have short sleeves, puff sleeves. You can see there's gathering at the sleeve heads, gathering at the cuff, I suppose, and a little band or cuff. You've got a yoke here, mandarin collar. This is the back tie, gathering at the front, gathering at the back. And then with this version here, you've got the long sleeves. So I went for the longer version, but with the long sleeves. And instead of adding a tie at the back, I just did a thread loop and a button. And I also added a self-drafted frill to the neck, which I thought was quite nice. And it turned out really, really beautiful, actually. I'll show you my version here. This is made up of a merchant and Mills handprint cotton, or hand block Indian block tie tie-dye, it's not tie-dyed, block print fabric. And this is the fabric here, and you can see the ruffle. I love this ruffle. You can see the ruffle there. So that's the collar, and instead of, I just added the ruffle, I just sandwiched the ruffle in between the collar there, and then the button there. Long sleeves, you've got ruffle, gathering at the yoke as well, at the sleeve heads, and there you go. So if I was to make it again next time, I'm definitely going to lengthen the sleeves, or maybe even add like a ruffle to balance out the ruffle in the neck. Also with the thread loop, it's very fiddly to get on. So I think instead I'll make a fabric loop instead of the thread loop. I definitely wouldn't make the tie, because I find I've got long hair and I just don't want it kind of sticking into my hair. So, but yeah, definitely will make the ruffle. The ruffle literally was just, it was just 3 centimeters in height plus the seam allowance, and the length of the ruffle, I googled it, and apparently the length of a ruffle should be the collar times 3. So that's what I've done, and then I've gathered it all into that, and I think it's really, really nice. I'll post a photo of me wearing it. So with regards to this pattern, it has the burrito method for doing the yoke. So the front yoke worked out well. I managed to burrito that, but the back yoke, for some reason, I didn't, which is fine. I just sewed it down and I just overlocked it, because I just thought, well, it's in the inside anyway, and I didn't bother doing that. The only other thing to mention with this pattern is that the sleeves aren't set in, so you insert the sleeves on a flat, which is quite odd because normally you would only do that with a knit fabric. But I suppose because there's lots of, I don't know why they decided to do that. I guess it works either way for this one, I suppose. This particular pattern goes from a size 00 to a size 20. Measurements are bust of 31, waist of 23.5, all the way up to a bust of 47 inches, waist of 39.5 inches. So lovely make. I wasn't planning to enjoy the make because when I first got the fabric, I wasn't too keen on it, but actually the ruffle just made it and I really, really love it. And I'm hoping to have a phase of finding my collar patterns, and instead of adding the, is it called the top collar? So this is essentially a collar stand, isn't it? If you were having like a shirt, this would be the collar stand. So instead of adding the collar, I'm going to add a ruffle to, say, for example, the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra dress. I think that's the only shirt dress, or even the Sew Over It Kate dress, which is a shirt dress. You could just omit the collar and add a ruffle, and I think that will add another look to it. And it's very good in the winter as well, just gives you a bit more coverage. Anyway, I'll post a photo of myself wearing that. Very happy with that, and I think that is all. That's everything that I've made in the month of October. I may get the chance to do a Friday Sews vlog this week, only because I've got so much other bits that don't really fall under makes, like the roundup of the month or anything. So it's just fabric hauls, things that I've won sewing wise with various challenges, and just various bits and pieces. I might not get it done just because of the baby and everything else. We're back to school again tomorrow. But if I do get it done, then there's just lots of bits and pieces. Or I might even try and squeeze it into, I don't know. Anyway, lots of sewing news and fabric to see in that vlog if I do get it out. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Sorry about the ramble. I'm just rambling a bit. And I'm finding that I'm oddly finding it difficult to look into my camera because I find it easier looking into the screen, if that makes sense. But then I suppose my eyes aren't looking at you. But what else am I going to talk about? Now, that's it. Lots of plans for November. Just for the children and myself, and some bag making. I've gotten into bag making, which is quite nice. They're lovely to make as presents. You don't have, there's no fit issues. It's so fun sort of buying fabrics and the hardware and stuff for it. So that's quite nice. But I will talk to you about that hopefully in a Friday Sews video. If not, it will be the end of the month roundup again. So yes, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Please tell all your other sewing buddies, if they haven't found me yet on YouTube, to just type in my social thread and find me. Also, I'm on Instagram under my social thread as well. And if anybody wants to message me via there, that would be great. I do read all your messages and I try to reply to all of them on the YouTube message thing below. So thank you very much for all of those that do follow me and that watch me all the time. Special hello also to my friend Cara, who does watch all my vlogs, and she is an avid beginner sewist. She does have the Tilly and the Buttons books that her husband gifted to her for Christmas last year, and she does try. She's a very busy mum, you know, she's a doctor. She's oh my goodness, I think she's got 5 children now. 5 children. She's a GP and she is trying to get into sewing. So she has made, I don't know if she's made a start on it yet, but she has got the Tilly and the Buttons books, which is a great way to start for beginners. So a big hello to Cara and thank you for watching. Yes, and I think her daughter watches as well. So hello to Hannah as well. Thank you so much for watching. I've said that many a times. Hope you have a lovely rest of the week. And I will see you again next time. Bye. God bless. Bye-bye.